What's up and welcome to our Kinstretch class. Today you're gonna need a dowel, stick, or PVC pipe, and a block is optional but recommended. This is gonna be a 30-minute shoulder and scapula focused session. We're gonna touch on shoulder flexion, shoulder extension, and scapular retraction, and then building into a ISO MP push-up as our finisher strength move. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna cover our basis of irradiation first. So I'm standing tall. I'm gonna create full body tension. I slightly roll the shoulders back and make two fists. The veins start to pop in my arm. I squeeze my glutes, I squeeze my quads, I spread my toes. Now that everything's on, we're gonna ramp up the intensity. So we're gonna go from 0 to 100. Let's start out at 10%, 20%, 30%, 50%, we're half of our total output. 60%, turn it up. 70%, we're starting to feel heat in the body. 80%, we're squeezing hard. 90%, and we're gonna hold 100% contraction for 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let it out. We're gonna use that scale from 0 to 100 during today's session to add challenge. Keep in mind that we wanna avoid pinch points. So pinch point is when I bring that arm up overhead. If I get a closing angle joint pain, that would be right here, or in the hip, that would be running across the front of the hip there. Want to avoid the pinch points, okay? Clicking and popping, as long as it's pain-free, is not a problem. Let's get started. We're gonna create about 60% irradiation, and we're gonna go into our neck car. We're gonna bring chin down to chest. We're gonna scrape the chin along the collarbone over to the right side. We look over the right shoulder. Once we hit that end range, we drop the right shoulder. We circle around looking at the ceiling, pull the head up towards the ceiling, rotating around, chin comes to left shoulder, and we scrape the chin along the collarbone. We're gonna head the other direction. We'll do 3 of each car in each direction. Dropping ear behind shoulder, looking up at the ceiling, chin comes to shoulder on right side, and scrape along the collarbone. That is 1 full rep. 2 more. Check into that irradiation. If you're feeling good, let's turn the irradiation up to 70%. Circling around, lifting out of the shoulders, chin comes to shoulder on the left side and scrape along the collarbone. Heading back over to the left side, scraping the chin along the collarbone. Drop the ear behind the shoulder, lifting head up and back. Chin comes to right shoulder and we scrape. That is 2. Now if you want to turn it up, now is the time. Give 80 or higher % irradiation. Circling around, we're really squeezing into the end range. Think about wringing out a dish towel, and that is your neck. Chin to shoulder and scrape. Last half. Over to that left side, drop the ear behind the shoulder, looking at the ceiling, scraping around, chin to collarbone, and scrape. From here, we're gonna go scapula. So scapula is the big bone on the back of the shoulder, and we're gonna train it with the arms out. So we're gonna bring the arms out to the side, and then we're gonna draw a box. So we're gonna do a square here, bring irradiation to 60% for this first effort. Hand stays level with the shoulder. We go elevation and protraction. That's up and forward. Up and back, wearing the shoulders like earrings. Scraping the shoulder blades down the back, tuck them into the back pocket, and protract forward and down. Up and forward, up and back, down and back, down and forward. Let's turn the irradiation up 80% or higher. Up and forward, up and back, down and back, down and forward, and reverse, squeezing shoulder blades down and back, up and back, up and forward, down and forward. That's 1, 2 more. Down and back, up and back, up and forward, down and forward. That's 2. Squeeze as much as you've got here. Squeeze down and back, up and forward, down and forward. From here, we're gonna move into shoulders. For shoulders, we're gonna take it from a half kneeling or Superman position. So if my right knee is down, my left knee is up. I'm gonna take my left hand, I'm gonna hook it around my left leg underneath the knee, and we're gonna be working this right hand. I'm gonna start in maximum external rotation. External's away from the body. At no point should this elbow bend. I'm gonna bring the arm up and in. That's adduction, heading into flexion, up overhead. I'm gonna hit that overhead position, take the internal rotation, squeeze the arm back behind us. Top of the hand should face the ground, and then face our thigh on that right side. We lift up and back. You'll hit kind of a lockout point where you can't go anymore. We go external rotation, that frees up the joint space. We come into shoulder flexion and then finish with external rotation and adduction. We're gonna turn up intensity 70 to 80%. External rotation, squeeze harder. Try and get more space out of that joint. Internal rotation, squeeze the arm back behind us. Top of the hand comes by the leg and we work it backwards. Up and back, squeeze into that end range. External rotation, bring it over and across. Good, that's 2. This is 80 to 100%, really giving it here as long as it's pain-free. Up overhead, hit that end range, squeeze out the rotation. Top of the hand finishes by the leg. We lift up and back, external rotation, shoulder flexion, and we finish down. Now we'll take all that on the other side, so 60, 70 to 80, and then 80 and above for the percentages of each rep. So right knee is up, right arm wraps around that right hamstring, knee joint, and then I go external rotation on this left hand. I bring it up and in, heading up into flexion, hit that end range up overhead, internal rotation, top of the hand faces the ground, squeeze the shoulder blade behind us, top of the hand comes by the leg, then we lift up and back, external rotation, over and across, and that is 1. That's 60%. Let's turn it up to 70%. External rotation, shoulder flexion, internal rotation, squeeze out that joint, top of the hand comes by the leg, and start working it backwards, lifting up, external rotation, shoulder flexion, and across there. Last one, 80 to 100%. Turn it up, wring out that joint. No matter what direction we're rotating, we're trying to rotate as much as possible. Really try and squeeze all the juice and rotation out of that shoulder. And that is 3 reps. Next, we're gonna do spine. Spine, you can perform from a lot of different positions. Whatever, if you're comfortable with a bunch of them, you can do any one you want. A couple notable ones would be a seated spinal car on any seat that you need or any seat you have. You can do high kneeling from right here. You can go low kneeling or seated on the heels. I'm gonna perform high kneeling, but take your choice of one you like. So we're gonna start by crossing the arms. We're gonna tuck the pelvis and then we're gonna roll up the spine. So slowly moving into flexion vertebrae by vertebrae. We're gonna max out that flexion. Then we're gonna rotate in flexion over to the right as much as we can. We're gonna hit a lockout point. Then we're gonna drop that right shoulder, go into lateral flexion. So I'm leaning to the side. I'm gonna transition to extension so the pelvis pokes back like I'm trying to Instagram booty my butt back. Arch the spine, circling around, looking at the ceiling. Now we go rotation and extension, lateral flexion, tuck the pelvis, flexion and rotation. That's just one half. Heading over to the other side, flexion and rotation, drop the shoulder, poke the butt back, flare the rib cage, circle around, and back into flexion and rotation. That's 1. Turn it up. We're gonna go 70 to 80%. Flexion and starting into rotation. Drop that right shoulder, poke the butt back, move up vertebrae by vertebrae into the spine, into extension, rotating to that left side, drop that left shoulder, tuck the pelvis, and round forward. Heading over to the left, rotate to the left, drop that left shoulder, pull into extension, rotate over to the right, drop this right shoulder, lateral flexion, flexion and rotation, and unwind. This is our max effort, turning it up 80 to 100%, really squeezing into each range. So we're gonna squeeze into that flexion a little more. We're gonna rotate, I'm gonna squeeze into that rotation more, lateral flexion, squeeze into that lateral flexion, transition to extension, squeeze into extension and rotation, circling around with core engagement, arching back, flaring rib cage, and then squeeze into that left side rotation, squeeze into lateral flexion, squeeze into flexion and rotation, unwind. Last half here, lots of squeezing going on. Rotating to that left side, squeeze, lateral flexion, squeeze, extension, squeeze, circling around, extension and rotation, squeeze, lateral flexion, squeeze, flexion, rotation, squeeze, and unwind. Beautiful. Nice work, y'all. Next is gonna come elbows. So for elbows, we rotate at the elbow joint by locking the shoulder. And so we're gonna roll the shoulders down and back. And then we're gonna take what looks like bicep curls in both of our pronation and supination, or internal external rotation of the elbow. So I'm gonna start by holding my arms in a bicep curl and then trying to rotate the pinkies towards the face, or thumbs away from the body. From here, I'm gonna take a full bicep curl and then squeeze back into that full elbow flexion or bicep curl. And then we're gonna go internal rotation or pronation. I'm gonna extend and flex, unrotate, external rotation, extend and flex, turn up irradiation. We're gonna go 70 to 80, glutes, core, shoulders back, elbows squeeze in. We're gonna go internal rotation, hinge, external rotation, hinge, and 100% squeeze, internal and external. Beauty. Then we're gonna finish with our wrist. So for the wrist, I'm gonna hold my wrist flat. I'm gonna pull it into extension. I'm gonna circle around as far as I can, pulling into flexion. Oh, excuse me. We're starting in flexion, circling around, pulling into extension, over to that inside, internal, and back into extension. So the key here is you gotta keep this palm completely flat. So as we're moving through these, palm flat limits the range, okay? So as soon as you start getting a cupping sensation or wanting to curl the fingers, it's too far, back off and straighten out the palm for range of motion. We're gonna take 3 of these. I'll let you kind of walk them through nice and slow, trying to get as much range as you can. Awesome. Trying to keep that forearm nice and flat. If you want, you could put your forearm on a table if you're struggling to keep that forearm isolated as well. Okay, go ahead, wrap that up. And then once you finish that, we'll switch to the other side. So left wrist now. So grab that wrist, forearm's nice and flat, palm is open completely. We're gonna pull up into flexion here, external rotation, or excuse me, internal rotation, into extension, over to the left side, and scrape around. Keep that palm completely open. These are tough. Some of my hardest and most frustrating cars are the wrists. Means I need it. Lots of crunching and popping. That is okay, as long as we're getting no pinch points or pain, taking it through our 3 reps. Perfect. Once you wrap those up, we're gonna move on. So first, deep exercise. By deep, I mean all the way in the capsule. So the pails rails is the deepest work you can do on the joint. It's in the capsule, and then our lift offs, any hovers, anything like that, will be working out. So we always want to do the pails and rails first, and then we'll get to the more flashy, fun stuff afterwards. So I'm gonna start in a modified child's pose. So I'm gonna sit on the back of my heels, and if that's a problem for you, if you have any knee issues or ankle issues that don't allow this position, you can do the exact same thing we're gonna do from tabletop. So just know you can participate, you don't have to skip out. So I'm gonna sit on my heels, I'm gonna take my non-working hand and I'm gonna place it right in front of the left leg. So I'm gonna start with the right hand, left hand comes right in front of that left leg, and then I'm gonna kind of sink that the spine into a hip hinge position and find my end range of shoulder flexion. So to test your pails and rails, we're gonna base it off the rails. What we're gonna do is we keep that shoulder down and back, we pull up, lock the elbow out into our rails, and I want you to be able to get 1 millimeter to 1 inch maximum off the ground. So if you can get more than 1 inch off the ground, I need you to walk the hand up. So if I go to do my rails and it looks like this, that's too much. We're gonna walk that hand up. Now we're gonna start. So we're gonna do 5 reps and we're gonna build from 60 up to 100. So I'll cue those, but again, listen to your body first, me as a secondary coach. So I'm right here, hands locked in place, core's engaged. I start building tension. First rep's gonna be at 60%. We're pailsing, I'm pressing down into the ground, trying to drive this stick through the floor. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, bracing core. We're gonna think fast when we lift it, and rails, lift up. 10, 9, 8, 7, keep that elbow straight. 6, 5, 4. We're gonna go right back into pails and pails. Drive into the ground. 10, 9, 8. Ramping up to 70%. 7, 6, 5, 4. Get ready for a fast transition as quick as you can. Rails, pull up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Transition fast. Pails. 10, 9. Turning up to 80. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rails quickly. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're going to go quick on the pails. Drive down. This is rep 4 of 5. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Get ready for that fast rails transition and fire it off. Rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. If you've got it, this is 100% effort, max effort. Drive down pails hard. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Bracing core. Get ready. Fast rails. Pull it up. Last rep. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. That is intense. Excuse my sniffles. Okay, we're gonna go on to the other arm now. So we're gonna take that exact same setup now on the other side. So my right hand's gonna come right in front of that right knee. The left arm comes out. We're gonna set up and then take the rails. Adjust your grip on the stick until you've got 1 millimeter to 1 inch of hoverage or clearage, and we're gonna go from here. Getting ready. We're gonna start at 60% and build up to 100 through our 5 reps, 10 seconds on each side. 3, 2, 1, and pails. Driving down. 10, 9, 8, 7. Feel that rod driving through the ground. 3, quick on the transitions. 2, 1, rails. Fire it up. 10, 9, keep that elbow straight. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, quick on the pails transition. Pails. Drive down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rails. Lift up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pails. Drive down. We're at 70%. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Quick transition and rails. Pull up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're starting rep 4 at 80% drive. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Bracing core, elbow straight, rails, pull up. End of rep 4, hold it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Last rep and pails. 100% effort. Anything you got left, turn it up here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Quick transition to the rails and rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. And drop it there. Take a couple of breaths. Whew. And then we're gonna move into lift offs. So we're gonna start back on the right hand, same exact setup, but now we're gonna work on our speed of just the regressive tissue or the rails into lifts. So I'm gonna start, and this one I wanna be able to get a little bit higher. So we're gonna find our position by taking the rails, and we wanna get 3 inches off the ground, roughly, and that is where we're gonna start. So we set up into that position, and we're gonna fire them off. So get set up right now. We'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rails. Lift up. You're gonna hold for 5 seconds. We're gonna do 10 reps. 3, 2, 1, set it down. Build and rails. Drive up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's 2. Build up and rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Build up. Rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath. This is going to be 5. Build up. Rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Set it down. Build up. Rep 6. Rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath. We have 3 more. Build up. rails, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, let it down. Last two, take a breath. 3, 2, build up, rails, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last rep, take a breath. Build up and rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, nice work, y'all. Take a couple breaths and then we will be back to the left side. Maybe if you want to release those ankles for a second, wiggle the feet around if you're in that modified child's pose. If you're in tabletop, you're probably good to go. And then we're going to head on to this left side. We've got 10 lift-offs on that shoulder flexion. So right hand places right in front of that right knee. We find about go rails or regressive tissue lift-off. We're going to want about 3-inch lift-off, and let's get set up. Starting in 5, 4, 3, elbows locked, bracing core, build up, and rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath. Build up, elbows locked, rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's 2. Take a breath. Build up, brace the core, rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Take a breath. Build up. This is rep 4. Elbows straight and rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath. Build up and rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Take a breath. Build up. Rep 6 and rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Take a breath. Build up and rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Take a breath. Build up. This is rep 8 of 10. 3 more. And rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Build up. Breath. And rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Last rep here. Take a breath. Build up. Lock the elbow. Rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh. All right, that is enough from that kneeling position. All right, from here, we're gonna go scapula retraction with an elbow hinge. So we're gonna set our stick aside and we are gonna get started here. The scapular retraction to elbow hinge is gonna be performed supine. So we're gonna be laying down on the ground. I'm gonna flip this mic behind me. I'll talk louder so you can hear me. Okay, so we're gonna come in a prone position that is lying face first. Our forehead's gonna be on the ground. Our elbows are gonna be right by our sides. We roll the shoulders down and back and we squeeze the shoulder blades together. So we're gonna combine the pails, rails, and a lift-off hinge. So what it's gonna look like is my pails are gonna be driving down into the ground while squeezing the shoulder blades. When I go rails, I'm gonna pull up off the ground and then I'm gonna punch the elbows back, squeezing into as much shoulder extension as I can, bend the elbows back, and I'm gonna land. So it's gonna be 10 seconds of pails, 10 seconds of rails for 5 reps. During that rails, we'll perform the elbow hinge. Here we go. Let's build up, foreheads on, shoulders squeeze, down and back, make 2 fists, and press into the ground. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails, lift off, and then slowly start punching out. 8, 7,
6. Pulling up to as much extension as you can. Reach for the ceiling. 3, 2, 1. Heading back in and landing. Take a breath. We have 4 more. 1 down. Build and pails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Lift off. Punch the fist back. Reaching for the ceiling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And land. That's 2 of 5. 3 more to go. Take a breath. And pails. Drive down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Lift off and start punching. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And land. 3 down, 2 to go. Take a breath. 2 more and we get a rest. Squeeze the shoulder blades and drive. 80% or more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Lift off and slowly start punching. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And land. Whew. Take a breath. 1 more. Build tension. This is 80 to 100% max effort-ish. And pails. Drive down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rails. Lift off and punch out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
And take a rest, y'all. That was a hard set. Good job. We're gonna now address wrist flexion and extension, and then we're gonna move into our iso push-up to finish off. So for flexion and extension of the wrists, so we're gonna be looking at extension here and flexion here. So let's start off with extension first. So we're gonna pull the wrists or pull the fingers up towards the forearm as far as we can. Okay, we're gonna perform this from like a tabletop-ish position. That's not comfortable for you. You could stand and use a table or an edge as well to perform these moves. I will perform them on the ground though. So I'm gonna be in this tabletop position. I'm gonna pull my wrist into maximum extension, and then I'm gonna come onto the ground. So I'm gonna rock forward. I'm gonna pails by pushing my fingers down into the ground, driving through the palm. And then when I go rails, I'm gonna slowly start to rock back while trying to pull my fingers up towards the forearm. As soon as those fingers lift off the ground, that's where I stop. That's my rails effort, okay? We're only gonna do 3 of these in each direction. So I spread the fingers, we're gonna go work both at once. Elbows locked out, shoulders rolled back. I rock as far forward as I can without pain, and then I press through the whole palm of both my hands. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We start transitioning, pulling fingers up and slowly rocking back. Elbows stay straight. Once the fingers lift off, that's rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rock forward. 2 more and pails. Driving down 70 to 80%. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rails. Rock back and pull up. Elbows straight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 more. Rock forward and pails. 80 to 100. All you got. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rails. Pull up. Rocking back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. That is intense. Now we're gonna flip them. We're gonna go wrist flexion, and we're gonna work, you can work these single or separate, but I will teach them together, so it will speed the process up a little bit. So we're gonna do the same exact thing we just did for the wrist extension now in flexion. So top of the hands on the ground, elbows are still straight. My pails now is pushing the top of the hand into the ground. My rails is trying to pull my palm up towards the inner forearm. Okay, so I'm right here. I roll the shoulders back, and then I pails into the ground. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rails. Pull up and rock forward. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest and reload. Pull back into as much flexion as you can, and pails. Push into the ground. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rails. Rock forward and pull up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. And this is our last effort. 80 to 100% here on irradiation tension and push. Pails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rails. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. All right. I'm going to clasp those hands, kind of roll out the wrist. That can be pretty intense if you don't do those regularly. Heck, I do them regularly and they're intense. So roll them out, kind of shake the hands. And we are going to finish with our ISO-MP, so isometric movement path push-up for 1 minute. So the idea behind an isometric movement path is we bring the same irradiation and contraction of an isometric, and then we're going to take it through a movement path or a push-up. Okay, so we kind of prepped all the tissues to get ready for the push-up, and I'll give you 3 options actually. Push-up number 1, 4 options actually. Push-up number 1 is going to be an incline push-up on the knees. So if you're regressed on your push-up currently, this is where we're going to work. So we'll work on our knees in an incline. Option number 2 will be on our feet in an incline. Option number 3 is going to be on our knees, flat on the ground, right? Option number 4 is going to be that full push-up on the ground. So those are different variations. We're going to go ahead and get started. I've got my timer here set up. I'm going to pull it off my wrist so we can watch it, and I'm going to coach us through. So what we're going to do is not worry about the reps, okay? So think of this as like a plank effort, but we're moving. So I'm going to give you 2 options. So it could look something like this. I am tucking my pelvis, my abs are in, I'm pushing the ground away, and I move super slow. Maybe it's 20 seconds down, 20 seconds up, and I get 1.5 reps, right? That's one option to do it. Or you could go faster and hang out in the mid-range. You could pop down, come up, pop down, come up, pop down, come up. You're just looking to explore the tissue of the push-up, okay? So any area or capacity you have, that's what we're gonna challenge, okay? So mine might not look exactly like yours, and that is okay, or maybe ours look identical. What I'm gonna do is give you reminders of where to squeeze and where to activate. Okay, here we go. This is our finisher. We have 1 minute of work. If you need, drop down to your knees towards any part. I might not make it, or if you stop early, that's fine as well. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're gripping the ground with our hands. We're clenching our butt cheeks. Abs are in, and we are solid. We're strong. We're owning the position. Everything is active here, making it really work for us. Maybe you start shifting side to side. Maybe you start rocking forward and back. Anywhere in your push-up, you've got more squeeze. You've got more contraction here. All right, we are 20 seconds in roughly. Lowering down, squeezing, getting every bit of tissue you can. Excuse my noises. Halfway, 30 seconds. 15. Final 10. 3, 2, and 1. Holy moly. All right. Good work, y'all. So that is bleeding in a little bit of FRC, internal strength model. We'll be having more of that kind of coming into our program in the coming months. But that is a wrap on our upper body Kinstretch, shoulder and scapula focused with the build to an isometric push-up.